here, Caleb here. All right. I'm sure Alyssa will be joining us soon. Okay, excellent. Well, can everyone hear me okay first off? Good? All right, good deal. Okay, so I have been working on the 100-year project. You notice I didn't give anyone the reading summary for today. So I decided instead of, it's a pretty easy chapter as far as developing more team stuff. So we're not going to do a reading summary today because I want to get into this project. We're going to take the 100-year project that Mr. Gogarty gave us, and we are going to break up into 2 teams, and we're going to tackle the project. So before we start tackling it, though, I would like to go ahead and walk through. I'll send you all a copy. Matter of fact, I'm going to send a copy of this to the chat. Let's see here. If I can just remember how to do that here. Chat, there we go. I think I can send a copy of this document. Yes, I can, right there. So that you can open it yourself, but I'll also do it on a share screen here so that we can all look at it together real quick. Stand by, I'm pulling it up right now. Sorry, time stands still when you're watching someone else, like I'm trying to find a document here. 100-year project, here we go. All right. Okay, for some reason it's not going through right away, but it should pretty soon. Okay, I'll make sure that you get it once it's saying there's a network problem right now. But let me go ahead and share this and let's just talk through it. I think that'll probably be our easiest way going about this. Because there's a lot of steps to it. And I think I hope I learned from previous projects where maybe I left too many question marks and there was just way too much uncertainty. So take a look at this document here. Can you guys see a Word document right now? Yes? Okay. So I'll blow it up to where it's 100% here. One page. Make it even bigger. Go 200%. There we go. That should be a little more readable, right? So at the top, this is the official logo that Andrew Gogarty was talking about the other day. They're already sold on this logo. So I doubt they're going to change that even if we had a brilliant recommendation. So, you know, one of your suggestions probably shouldn't be change the logo. You might hurt someone's feelings. Okay. So the vision of the project, this goes back to our whole project management study ever since the first week of class. The vision is to honor the past 100 years while looking ahead to the future. Faith Baptist Bible College, the goal is to connect the past to the future. So Gogarty said that himself, linking the past to the future. There are really 4 parts, 3 main parts and a bonus part that just came up today to this project. The 100-year logo needs a slogan. So, and that'll go on all the promotional material. So there's going to be something underneath this logo that has to be short enough to be considered, you know, a slogan, something that's not so informal, like, you know, killing it, yeah, or something like that, you know. So we gotta kind of make it something that could go on letterhead, posters. It could go at the bottom of every email from someone that's at the college. So it has to be something that'll fit on there. But the slogan, and you have to remember, it has to be able to be used everywhere. The second part is the hashtag that's directly connected to the 100-year. They had like Faith 100. It's probably got to be pretty unique to us. It can't be too long, but, you know, as hashtags go, I don't know what the rules are about hashtags. You might want to do a little research on that. And then a plan for the best ways to promote the milestone. And I have some notes below of the things we're already doing. So other ways to promote this milestone. The bonus that just came up today, Dr. Heron stopped by and he asked if we could add in a way to identify a short list of projects that could begin or end around the 100-year anniversary. This could be new construction. This could be remodeling something. This could be purchasing something, general improvements to the campus. It could be something that enhances the student experience. It could be something that upgrades an area of our campus. And you could do it any way you want, however your team decides to do it. But you might want to come up with something that's small, something that's medium, and something that's big, just because they're trying to raise a couple $1 million in fundraising. And so there is the potential of doing something big, but there's a greater potential of something small or medium. So keep that in mind. The meeting notes from Mr. Gogarty was, he said, we need to identify the audience and market for each part of the project. So, the slogan part is easy, and the projects, the physical projects are fine. But then the hashtag, you got to kind of think, okay, so who would use a hashtag, identify that audience. And then the best ways to promote, you might have multiple ways, and they might be addressing different potential audiences. Does that make sense? Okay, all right. He specifically recommended taking a look at the mission and vision statements that are on the website. You got to go back to that because it does have to fit that. You could have something brilliant, but if it doesn't match, it's like having two beautiful colors on the same wall. If they clash, it's not, you're not really fulfilling the spirit of what you're being assigned here. And then the things that the communication department's already planning on, of course, they already have the logo. They're going to redo the signage. Part of the suggestion might be how that signage could look if you want. They're doing a professional video for a 100-year review. You could give input on that if you think you have something there. 32-page commemorative magazine, college executives going on a tailgate tour, centennial exhibit in Alumni Hall, Homecoming 2021. Doesn't sound like they have any plan for Homecoming 2021, just that that's going to be a big deal. So if one of your ideas relates to any of these, just identify that. So this is the part that always got me in trouble with previous projects. Although some of that was by design, I wanted to kind of stress people out a little bit. But I'll be the project manager on this project. So then everything kind of come back to me if there's a question or whatever, so you don't feel like you're out there all alone. Then we're going to have a team leader. We're going to have two teams. Team leader, the person's going to oversee all the teamwork and ensure project completion. So your piece has to all kind of come underneath one team leader. Just got to make sure it's all coming together because the two teams are going to both be presenting. And then you're going to have specialists. I don't know what else to call them. Specialist number 1 will take the slogan piece of the project. Specialist 2 will do the hashtag piece. Specialist 3 will be the promotion piece. Specialist 4 will be the projects piece. And then there's another role on the team, the compiler. I don't know what else to call that person either. It's the person who's going to combine and refine all the communication that's coming in. So this doesn't mean that, hey, you come up with 10 hashtags and, oop, I'm done. I'm out. I got all my work done in 15 minutes, That's not the way this is going to work. First off, everyone is going to work an equal amount. So we are going to resist the urge to let one person carry the ball and everyone else watch them win the game on their own. Secondly, this cannot only come from inside your own head. You might be a very creative person and you might have a dozen ideas already about the piece that you're going to be assigned. You can throw those in there, but you also have to get information from outside yourself, research, polling other people, asking people that would have something interesting to say about this. So, and then you're going to work with each other, and I'm outlining the steps of this next year. So step 1, you guys, when I divide you into these two teams, I'm going to send you into breakout rooms. You're going to discuss the different roles, and you're going to pick amongst yourself who's going to be the team leader. So that's the first thing you're going to decide. But you probably want to decide that in light of there are all these other roles you already know about too. So you got to kind of come to a decision, a consensus on who's going to be the best one to be the team leader. And then from there, who's going to be the best one to be the compiler, and then who's going to be the specialist. Now, one team is going to have 5 people and one team is going to have 6 people. So the team with 5 people, you have to decide which role. There's one too many roles, but you still have to get all these roles covered. So you have to divide up one of those roles. Maybe you want to divide up the hashtag role because that might be, at least it seems like it might be the one that has the least amount of legwork in it. So you might want to divide that one up. Or you might want to divide up the project role and everyone kicks in to help with the project. The only thing you can't divide up is the compiler or the team leader, but you can decide which piece you want to divide up if you're on the smaller team. You have to come up with a method for your research, collection, and presentation. So this cannot just be one discussion and this is over. Because this is such a high profile deal, we need to really have a method of how we're accomplishing this, and we need to be able to demonstrate that. So we are a project management firm, and our customer, the college, is expecting us to come up with something that's going to really be something they can use. Tens of thousands of people will see this. It could help with their multi-million-dollar campaign. It could influence the college for the next century. So we can't just do it based on what we think in our limited experience. We have to go beyond that. So you're going to have to develop a method for how are you going to research each piece of this, right? So you're committing to say, hey, we're going to spend X amount of time, or we're going to go to this many resources, or we're going to poll 100 of our classmates. We're going to create some tool for collecting information. So something. So research, collection, and then presentation. So how are you going to, once it's all been put together, then how are you going to present this? Understanding when we get to the end of this, I'll talk about the presentation, but you kind of have to know what you want the end to look like before you even begin, so you don't waste time on something that's not going to impact the end, okay? Decide how you will not only work on your role, but how you'll assist in other roles. Again, you might be specialist number 2, working on the hashtag piece, but you are also going to contribute to the other roles. You might be the team leader, but you're also going to be contributing to help the specialists come up with ideas and help keep them on track. You might be the compiler, but you also, you have a creative side, you can help contribute. So you guys are gonna have to come up with what that's gonna look like. And then one of the next step would be you're gonna present your piece to the team. So before that happens, I would recommend the team leader set some ground rules for how these presentations are gonna work. This isn't as big of a deal as like the book reports and stuff like that as far as the presentation goes, because this is really in-house. This is just within your team initially. But like, let's say that if I give you a whole class period to do this, you're going to take 5 minutes per piece for the person to present, and then another 5 minutes for everyone else on the team to bounce questions, throw out ideas, tell what they honestly think about, hey, I don't really like that idea, or I think that someone else is using that idea, whatever. And so you take all that, and then the compiler also has to, before this presentation piece happens, clearly communicate how they want to receive that presentation information so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. So if you're in charge of the slogan piece and you're getting feedback from people and you kind of have something you want to give to the compiler now so that can go into the bigger presentation, the compiler needs to let you know, okay, hey, can you send that to me in a Word document? Hey, can you highlight the parts that were suggestions, stuff like that, whatever the compiler thinks. But the compiler shouldn't have to just take notes on what everyone's talking about and then have to retype everything, because there's already a lot of work in putting it all back together. So trying to make their job easier and simple. Okay, so once you've gone through this presentation, this team presentation time, you're going to redistribute the compiler's work to the rest, back to the team, to kind of do a second run through, I would call it, where, okay, so now you've heard everyone, the compiler put it all on paper. In that period of time, maybe you've started thinking of things that could make it better, or someone's comment maybe it's giving you a new idea. Compiler gives it all back, and then everyone's going to work cooperatively. Step 6, you're going to take all that and you're going to work cooperatively to create 15-minute or less, could be much less, presentation to show the other team and the project manager what you found. So that's kind of the group presentation. In that, you got to have someone that's going to be the presenter. Some people that's like their thing, and some people it's not their thing. So it's because the whole team is doing this together. It shouldn't be a ton of extra work. It's just the person that has been appointed to be the communicator. It does not have to be the team leader. It doesn't have to be the compiler, but it can be. You need to have something visually to present. So not only a Word document of the notes, but something that visually incorporates what you're talking about. It doesn't have to be a graphic presentation, but it should be something. Could be a chart that shows the different ideas. You could do a word cloud. You could do just a colorful, word art type thing that shows what you're talking about. You don't have to create visuals for the different campus projects. Like you don't have to redesign the student center and come up with a 3D animation of that. Don't worry about that. Anything you can just demonstrate with something that is more than just a black and white Word document. That would be really helpful. A PowerPoint slide might be good, or a couple PowerPoint slides. And then what's going to happen is that presentation, basically the one person will present, the other team members will be watching. The opposite team, the alternate team, will be observing, taking notes, and they will make comments to give back to you. So this is a collaborative phase. So they're going to give comments back to you. What I think I might do is have one team present, then the other team present, and then the first team can give comments to the second team, and the second team give comments to the first team. So then the two presentations kind of go side by side, and then the comment phase comes. Then you take the feedback, step 7, reconvene as a team, discuss how to incorporate any of their information. And then the team leaders are going to meet with me as the project manager, and we're going to collaborate and combine the best ideas into one main presentation. So, because what might happen is you might have two very similar ideas that we could maybe through synergy put them together and have one really great idea. Or you might have two things that sound exactly the same, and they kind of, that means that we're kind of unanimous. This is really a great idea. So we'll put it all together. We might have one presentation has a look that we think the ad council would appreciate more. So we might say, hey, we want to use team 2's presentation, and we'll take some of team 1's stuff and put it in there. So it's slightly competitive, but it's not intended to be a full-blown competition. There's no, the goal is for everyone to win, not to, put the other team down. We're actually trying to push each other. So the difference between competition and rivalry is competition is when you're on the field, on the court, you're head to head, you're taking advantage of your opponent in order to win at this moment in the short term. That's competition. Rivalry is when two teams or two people or two companies are both doing the same thing, and through healthy competition, they can literally both succeed. They can both excel. They're not trying to knock each other out. And when you're within the same company, that's great, because that's what you call synergy. You're working together, you're collaborating, you're kind of pushing each other forward. That's what we need. So don't look at this as a full-blown, beauty contest. All right. Let's see here. And then finally, the project manager, me, will assign any further work to prepare the final presentation. And that's going to be who's going to be the spokesperson, or are we going to have a couple spokespeople? What's the presentation going to look like? And we'll set up a time to get the appropriate people to see it. What we might do is if Andrew Gogarty or a team of his people want to observe, they could watch the first presentation. And then if they say we could present it to the ad council, maybe we could create a presentation that we would actually give to the ad council. Okay. And then that's the final, we present in step 10. And then the last step, of course, is always feedback. We want to always bring the loop back to what could we do better? What did we learn? What are they asking for? Are there any future projects that we're going to work on because of this, stuff like that? So does anyone have any questions? Nobody? All right, great. So here's the based on the other last week when we talked about team roles, right? So there are functions within the team. The team leader is a function, the compiler is a function, and then the specialist is a function. That's actual like a job description, right? And then there's these roles of kind of how your personality fits into the team and your giftedness. And I'm not going to assign those team roles because those are just going to naturally come out. What I am going to do is I took everyone's table tent and I am dividing the teams up based on even distribution of where you're at with your gifts and personalities and things. Because what I don't want to have is one team with all analytical, quiet people, and then the other team with all the creative, noisy people. You know what I mean? So we're going to divide it up evenly as best I can, and I'll put you into your groups here in a second. But my responsibilities as a project manager, which I fit into that team role of the team role of controlling, organizing. But the team leader is going to be that a little bit as well. But I'm going to direct and focus this. This is based right on our text. I'm going to set the agenda, which I've done, help make decisions along the way. I'm going to be the communicator with team leader 1 and 2. So really that's, unless there's some major issue, the team leaders would be the ones who would communicate with me if there's a question, whatever. And then the team leaders will take this and kind of direct and organize their individual teams to accomplish the project. And I just want to remind you of the other types of team roles that people carry. These are not specifically assigned, but it does seem to just work out. You always have someone that's going to be kind of the organizer. You always have someone that seems to be the devil's advocate. They like to ask questions. Do you guys understand what the phrase devil's advocate even means? Do you guys get that? All right. So someone is usually that person. Don't be frustrated by that person. They're not necessarily trying to stop the work. They're just always trying to look at it from a different perspective. Some people are just wired that way. And a devil's advocate does balance out people that are a little more confident, right? That might end up dominating the conversation. So a devil's advocate might, and their opinion is just as valuable. You have creative, exploring people. Those types of people, their place in the team helps prevent groupthink. So what you don't want is everyone on the team to just say the same thing all the time. If that happens, some of your redundancies and you're not needed on that team. So what you want is you want people that are creatively thinking, sometimes outside the box, sometimes inside the box. Or maybe they're trying to bring an idea forward and they're bringing it forward in a new way to try and help get their point home, whatever. That's good. There's Alyssa.
Hi.
Good morning, sunshine. How are you?
Good.
Okay. All right. Glad you're with us here. Then you have people that are contributor developers. These are people who are just going to, they're more the checkbox people. Are any of you checkbox people, like you like to have a list and you like to check it off? Yes? Okay. All right. I am. Even though that's my personality is a lot different than Max's, probably, I am a checklist person. I get a certain amount of satisfaction knowing that, hey, I got that done. I move on to the next thing. Every team needs to have someone that thinks like that, even if they're not officially in a job description that does that. Because they're the ones who are going to actually help get the job done. And then you have a communicator, collaborator. They act as both the glue that keeps the team together. So sometimes they're the one that can kind of help extinguish any little fires or disagreements. But they also, that's the lubrication too. They kind of are able to help solve problems, but they're also the one that's always drawing people into the conversation to make sure one person's not sitting off in the corner uninvolved. So those are the different, that's just a reminder of what we've already talked about, but those are the different types of people on a team. And so that's why I divided the teams up by your profile. Okay. So I'm going to send you into breakout rooms. And let me see if I can, let me try and go back to sending you this document again real quick. I'm going to stop my share. There we go. All right. And then we're going to try and share this document one more time if possible. Okay, for some reason it's not working. What I'm going to do then, here, this is what I'll do. I'm going to paste this document right into the chat. How about that? And then I'll try and send it to you maybe some other way. Stand by as you all watch me do this here. Look out. For some reason, it just doesn't want to. There we go. Stall, copy. Now put it up in the chat here. See what this looks like. Okay, did that come through on your chat, everybody? You guys have like a chat window that popped up on the side, or if you click on the little chat bubble at the bottom, you should see. Do you guys have a little chat bubble at the bottom?
It didn't come through the chat. I see the chat box, but it doesn't.
It's not through. Nothing. Okay. No. Maybe it'll take a second here. All right. While I work on sending this stuff to you. Only part of it came through. Sorry. Yeah, I'll email it to you. Only, I guess maybe there's a limit in how much can go through the chat. So that's why it's not coming through. It's all right. So I'll email it to you. But the first thing you need to do is discuss this. And then, of course, talk about the roles and responsibilities. So again, you're looking for who's the team leader, who's the compiler, and then who's in charge of each piece, right? And one of the teams is going to have one less person. So you're going to have to decide which piece to divide up amongst the different team members, okay? So I'm going to send you into your groups here, and it'll be a surprise who's on what team. So stand by real quick. Let me see what I got here. All right. Got almost done. And there is room 1. Room 2 is everybody else. So one group has 5, one group has 6. I'm sending you guys now. There you go.
I have so many huge brains in this group, it's going to be awesome. So, roles, huh? Did you assign roles within the group, Mr. Baldwin?
No, you guys have to assign your own roles. I just said what roles have to be assigned. So okay. First one would probably be team leader.
Okay. Jared Ball's question is, are you going to send the list of roles within that
Just did it.
document?
Just did it. Yep. And it did go through. So if everyone looks in their chat, it's there. I'll also broadcast a message to everyone.
Okay.
Sorry. It automatically logs you out at a certain time. So
Rip.
I'll explain that to everybody. Okay, everyone, welcome back. Sorry to cut your meetings. It just automatically does that once I send out to bring everyone back from the breakout rooms. It gives you like a 30-second countdown, whatever. So did everyone get the email first off?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So I was trying to send it through chat. What I think is chat is probably like any other chat. It only allows a certain amount. That's how we learn these things. Any quick questions? I can connect to the two team leaders. Caleb's team leader of one of the groups. Who's the team leader of the other group?
Max.
Max. All right.
Max.
All right, Max. Is the team leader, Max. So I'll meet with the team leaders just to make sure everything's rolling. But are there any quick questions you have?
Is there a specific due date for all this?
It will not be, because we're going to try and utilize class time to work on this. We should be able to get this done in maybe 3 or 4 class periods. That some of the presentation stuff you guys are going to have to do on your own time, but we don't have class next Tuesday because of assessment. So next Thursday, I'll send you guys some stuff that I'd like you to work on between now and next Thursday, so that it's not like we started today and then we have to restart next Thursday. I'd like this to continue, especially once you start thinking creatively. It's good to keep the thing moving. So I'd like to be done in 2 weeks, but I don't have a hard, fast date that we have to be done. I'd rather do it well. I want to use class time to do some of the work, but I think there is going to have to be some work done on your own, of course. And I can outline that with the team leaders, like expectations. I don't want this to be final exam level project where you're having to spend 20 hours working on it individually, but there is going to be some homework time that you're gonna have to put towards it. I think there's also in 2 weeks from today, I'm not going to be in class, and so that'd be a good day for you to kind of probably finalize your presentation discussions and things like that. So, and then I sent it to Mr. Gogridy to let him know how we're starting out, and that our expectation would be that we would eventually meet with him to present to his team, like a pitch meeting. If they accept it, then we would set up a time to actually roll it out to the ad council. If we could get a couple of them in a room or on Zoom at some time, we would have someone present it to the ad council. Okay. All right. Is everyone good with that?
I've got 2 questions real quick.
All right.
Are we meeting for the movie screening on Zoom or Google Hangouts?
On Zoom.
Okay.
So now I believe the way, when I send it to you in a calendar invitation, you can use Google Hangout. I've not done that, but it has a little link where you can watch it through. You can do any of these, but I would just always do it through Zoom.
Okay. The last question is, why did you put the other 5 members into a group if you're going to choose all of our ideas?
That's a great question, because what we had to do is it's a laboratory.
Okay.
It's a laboratory test. So basically, we can only have, if you were lab rats, we can only have 1 proud rat per team. So in a laboratory sense, and so that's enough said.
Okay.
Enough said. 1 proud, lab rat.
I think you just got called a rat, Jared.
Yeah, you're a rat.
I'm not sure how that
So
works.
hey,
He's
it's
fine,
science. It's science. You can't get your feelings hurt about science. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go because I got another class. Don't forget, watch party this afternoon. It is for a grade. If you can't make it, just let me know. But we are going to be analyzing some leadership things in this movie. Should be entertaining, and hopefully it gets you out of a few chores. You're welcome. See you guys.